Good evening everyone. Myself Ranganayaki from the Department of Computer Applications. Today we will be discussing about the concept of intruders and intrusion detection in cryptography. In the current world, protecting our data from unauthorized access is the major concern. So in this particular field of cryptography, we are going to discuss about the concept of intruders and intrusion detection. So intruder is going to be a person who attempts to gain an unauthorized access to a system or a network or to a data. So intrusion detection has certain methodologies which detects, and also in advanced methodologies we could also prevent the unauthorized access of our data. So these two concepts are going to be discussed in this particular video. We shall proceed with the concept. So now coming to the first terminology, which is intruder. So an intruder can otherwise termed as an attacker, who is going to be an individual who tries to gain unauthorized access to a system or a network. They have certain concerns. They'll just get access without permission. They'll try to steal, modify or destroy their data, and also they try to disrupt the services provided to a particular system. So these are the concerned areas where an intruder tries to involve and tries to modify or to break the security system. So they often follow a recognizable behavior pattern, like attempting multiple logins, accessing or trying to gain access to sensitive data. They'll try to execute some form of commands to gain the access. These are the some form of behavioral patterns followed by the intruders. Now coming to the types of intruders, we have three types: masquerader, misfeasor, clandestine user. So these are the three types of intruders we have in cryptography concept. Masquerader are individuals who tries to pretend to be an authorized user. Just keep that in mind. Usually the intruders, those who comes under this particular first category, they are often unauthorized user, but they just tries to pretend themselves as an authorized user to gain the access to the information. So for example, we can say somebody is try to logging in into some other people's system with their username and password. The actual person is not in any way related to that account, but they'll try to get the actual correct username and password, and they'll just pretend themselves as the authorized user, and they'll try to get into the, or they try to get the access to the system. Coming to the second category, misfeasor. Misfeasor intruders are legitimate users in an organization. Usually they are the authorized persons working in an organization. They'll have access to certain level of security system, they'll have access to certain level of data, but they'll misuse their privileges. That type of intruders are known as misfeasors. They often have an authorization, but they'll misuse their authorization. So those are those kind of for example, we can say employees who have access to confidential files, they'll just misuse their privileges, and they'll try to sell that confidential information or share that confidential information to the opposition companies or to the opposite parties. So those kind of employees comes under the category of misfeasor. Coming to the last category, clandestine user are the administrator who always have the administrative control, and they'll bypass the security mechanisms. These kind of intruders are one level up to the misfeasor category. These clandestine users also have the authorization in that particular company. They'll also have the authorization at the level of administrative privileges. They'll try to misuse their privileges, and they'll gain access to the data. They'll just misuse the data also. So these type of users were very dangerous kind. So these are the three different categories of intruders. Next one is intrusion detection. We can just impose the methodology of intrusion detection in two levels. We must first understand what is the concept of intrusion detection is. So it is going to be the process of monitoring the activities happening in a system or a network and try to detect any form of unauthorized access in the system. So this intrusion detection system can be in form of either software or hardware that monitors the network or the system and tries to detect any form of unauthorized access to the system or to the data or to the network and alerts the administrators. So this is how the intrusion detection system will be working. We have two different types of detection system. One is host based and another one is network based. Host based detection system always monitors, will be implemented in a single system and it will be monitoring that particular single system. So that is what host based detection system will be working. Coming to the network based system, this particular system, this monitoring system will be installed in a network. Moreover, network is nothing but it is going to be a collection of system. More than two systems connected together will be calling as a network. So there might be 10 system. If there is going to be 10 system, it is also a network. If it is going to be thousands of systems, that is also going to be called as a network. So network based intrusion detection system will be implemented in a network and it will be monitoring all the systems connected to that particular network. And though any one of the system is going to be detected with any form of unauthorized access or any form of intrusion activity, it will just creates an alarm and it just alerts the administrator. So this is how the host based and network based intrusion detection system will be working. Host based is implemented in a single system, it is responsible for that particular system alone, and network based is it is going to be implemented in a network and it is responsible for all the systems connected to that particular network. So intrusion detection techniques, how it is going to, in what are all the methods we are going to implement the technique. The very first one is signature based detection. Signature based detection always detects the known attack patterns. So it will be having a certain set of attack patterns. It will try to just track for that kind of attack patterns. If there is going to be any form match to that known patterns, it will automatically create the alert to the administrators. So next one is anomaly based detection. So it always have a track of all the normal activities, all normal behavioral patterns. So if there is going to be any form of distraction or deviation from the normal behavior, it automatically identify that type of unusual activities and it will report it to the administrator. That is what anomaly based detection. Coming to the hybrid detection, which is the last form of intrusion detection technique, combination of both signature based and anomaly based is known as the hybrid detection method. So it will combine the methodology of the above, the first two, and it will create an hybrid methodology. It will always track for the signature based also and also the anomaly based. So in signature based, it will have, the system will be having a known set of patterns. It will always try to track or it will always try to search for that particular patterns and it will report to the administrator. Anomaly based is going to be, it will have a usual pattern. If there is going to be any form of unusual activity, that particular unusual activity is going to be immediately reported to the administrator. In hybrid detection, combination of both signature based and anomaly based is going to be implemented together in the hybrid based detection technique. So for the key components, what are all the things we need? Sensors to collect the data and to analyzer to analyze the collected data and detect whether there is any form of unusual activity is going on, and finally user interface to, if we want to report that unusual activity to the administrator, with the help of the user interface only alone we can do that. So coming to the intrusion detection processes, we have data collection, and once the data has been collected, the second step we have to analyze those data. After that we have to search for any form of intrusion, and if there is going to be any form of intrusion present or any form of unauthorized access is present in that particular data, we have to generate the alert and we have to alert the administrators, and finally we have to give a response action. What type of action can be done to rectify that unauthorized access? That form of solution can also be suggested. And finally, coming to the intrusion protection, the previous thing what we have seen is intrusion detection system. Unauthorized access has been already done, it has already happened. After that only we are going to detect that this type of activity has been done. So prevention comes under the category of before happening some form of unauthorized access, we are going to prevent, we are completely going to prevent that no harm is going to done to the system or no harm is going to done to the network. So that is what intrusion prevention system. Before happening itself, we are going to protect the system from the intruders. So it is an advanced system that detects and automatically blocks the attacks. So IDS, that is a detection system, only detects. IPS, that is prevention system, is going to detect and also it prevents. So some common form of intrusion is password guessing, the malware attacks, phishing, denial of service to the server kind of services, and finally SQL injection. These are all the methodologies comes under the intrusion prevention system. And coming to the role of cryptography in intrusion prevention, why we need this cryptography in intrusion prevention? To protect our data confidentiality. Protection of data is very, very important, so we need. And next one is ensure the authentication, whether the correct person, whether the authorized users are accessing the data, whether the identity of the users are right. To check that, we need the cryptography in intrusion detection. And next one is maintaining the accuracy of the data, that is what the data integrity is. To maintain the accuracy of the data, we need the intrusion cryptography in intrusion detection and prevention. So the common techniques what we can use is, we can use encryption decryption techniques. Digital signatures can be used for ensuring the authentication, and finally hashing can be done to protect the correctness of the data or the accuracy of the data. Advantages and disadvantages. And coming to the advantages, it have usually the attacks can be detected in an early stage, the system security of the system can be improved, and finally it helps much more in the forensic analysis. And coming to the disadvantages, sometimes authorized access or authorized entries can also be recognized as unauthorized accesses. That kind of false positive results can also be provided by the detection systems. It requires regular updates because providing a security to a large amount of data, it's not a easy task. So we have to make sure that our detection system or else a prevention system is up to date with all form of services. And coming to the last one, obviously we need a proper upgradation, updation, everything is needed. So obviously it might be of a huge cost and it needs a high maintenance. And yeah, some real world examples for this can be the firewall alerts, which protects your accessing unauthorized access in the browsers and all, antivirus detection to protect your laptop or systems, other form of devices or your network from any form of unauthorized access. And coming to the last one, which is network monitoring tools, which can be implemented in the first two can be implemented in the individual systems also and also in networks, and the last one mainly designed for the network monitoring tool is mainly focused and designed for the network and protect the unauthorized access in the networking areas. So these are the some form of real world examples. Still it is in use to protect the intrusion and also to prevent the intrusion in the individual system or also in the networking areas. Thank you so much for watching.